First, let us go through the conceptual understanding questions. Say the first one among those. What is a reaction in which a substance or substances undergo change to produce new substances with new properties is called? What do you call that chemical reaction? Isn't it? It is called chemical reaction. The reaction in which substances undergo change and they produce new substances with new properties. Then that changes then the reaction is called chemical reaction. In the chemical reaction only new substances will be formed. Okay. Next one. Which substances take part in a chemical reaction? Generally, the chemical substances which are participating or which are taking part in the chemical reaction are called as reactants. Okay, the substances which are participating in the reaction or which are taking part in the reaction are called reactants. Which of these substances are formed as a result of chemical reaction? Yes, it is another one. So the chemical substances which are formed in a chemical reaction are called as products. Where it is here. The chemical substances which are formed because of a chemical reaction are called as the products, and the substances which are participating in the reaction are called as reactants. These reactants and products will be separated by using an arrow mark in the chemical equation. So which of the following conditions are necessary for a chemical reaction? So it must be accompanied with the change in the temperature. Yes, it is correct. At least one of the reactants must be in fixed quantity. Yes, it should be. It must follow the law of conservation of mass. Yes, it is also correct. So these three are the conditions at which a chemical reaction occurs. There occurs certain temperature change, and even the quantity of at least one component should be taken fixed, and it should follow the law of conservation of mass. So these are the conditions where a chemical reaction takes place. Next one, which of the following is the shorthand representation of a chemical reaction? Yes, just like the symbols and formulae, symbols we use for representing the element's name in the shorthand form, isn't it? In the same way, the shorthand representation of a compound name, we call it as formula. In the same way, the chemical equation also can be represented by using shorthand notations. So that we call as the symbolic representation of a chemical reaction by using symbols and formulae of the chemical substances involved in that reaction is called a chemical equation. It is called an equation or chemical equation. It is a shorthand representation of a chemical reaction. Okay, next one. X is an equation which contains equal number of atoms of all the elements on both the sides. Then what is that X? So what do we call that equation in which the number of atoms of all the atoms on the reactant side are equal to number of atoms of all the elements on product side? What do we call that equation? It is called a balanced chemical equation. Okay, in a balanced chemical equation, number of atoms of all the elements on both the sides will be equal. That is called balanced chemical equation, which is also called as stoichiometric equation. So here X representing balanced equation. Next, identify the type of reaction illustrated here. See what it is given. Hydrogen plus chlorine gives hydrogen chloride. What is happening if you observe there? Hydrogen combining with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. So two elements are combining to give a new compound. Then what we can call this chemical reaction? What type of reaction it is? It is called combination reaction. In the combination also you can say in clear the combination of two elements to form a compound. So it comes under combination reaction. Okay, next one. In which reaction is an atom or group of atoms present in a molecule displaced by another atom? So in certain chemical reactions, one atom will be displaced by another more reactive atom from its compound to form a new substance. Such kind of reactions are called displacement reactions. Generally, more reactive elements displace less reactive elements from their compounds in the aqueous form so that they form new substances. Those reactions are called displacement reactions. Okay. Next, in which reaction do two compounds exchange their ions to form two new compounds? So in certain chemical reactions, two chemical substances exchange their ions or radicals mutually so that they result in the formation of two new compounds. Those chemical reactions are called chemical double displacement reactions because two displacements occurs there. By that, both the compounds, they exchange their ions mutually to form new substances. Those reactions are called double displacement reactions or also called double decomposition reactions. Okay, next one. Now let us see here single correct answer type questions. See the first one. Which of the given chemical equations is not balanced? What is going to be balanced equation first? The chemical equation in which the number of atoms of all the elements on the both the sides of the chemical equation, if it is equal, then the equation is said to be balanced chemical equation, which is also called stoichiometric equation. Now they're asking which is not balanced here. Not balanced means unbalanced chemical equation. The chemical equation in which at least one atom is not balanced on both the sides is called unbalanced equation. Or to say simply, the chemical equation in which number of atoms of all the elements on both the sides are not equal, then that is called unbalanced equation, which is also called skeleton equation. See, you have to remember one thing here. Even one atom is not balanced in a chemical equation, then the entire equation is said to be unbalanced equation. See the first equation here on the left hand side, there are three iron atoms. But how many atoms are on the right hand side? Only two atoms are there. So now you can say this is not a balanced equation. It is not balanced equation. See the next one. KClO3 gives KCl plus O2. Potassiums are balanced, okay. Chlorines are also balanced. Here one chlorine. On the right hand side also one chlorine. But if you observe oxygens, here on the left hand side there are three oxygen atoms. But how many oxygen atoms on the right hand side? Only two. Now can we say it is a balanced equation? No, it is not a balanced equation. See this equation, Al2O3 gives Al2O. Actually it is Al2O. No, I think something given wrong. Anyhow, here aluminum atoms are balanced but oxygens are not balanced on both the sides. Okay, it is also not a balanced equation. If you see the third equation, calcium carbonate gives calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. If you see in this equation, number of atoms of each element. First if you see calcium, one calcium atom on the left hand side. On the right hand side also one calcium. So calciums are balanced, isn't it? Now if you see carbon atoms, there is one carbon on the left hand side. On the right hand side also one carbon. Now I can say carbons are also balanced. What about oxygens? Here there are three oxygen atoms on the left hand side. Here is one and here two. Totally there are three oxygens on the right hand side also. So all the atoms are balanced in this equation only. So actually it should be which equation is balanced, then we can say this is correct answer. But they asked here not balanced. These three we can say as unbalanced equations or not balanced equations. Okay, next one. Which of the given chemical equations is balanced? See, balanced equation means as we told, the equation in which number of atoms of all the elements are same on both the sides. That equation is said to be balanced equation. See the first one. if you see hydrogens, two hydrogens are here. Right hand side also two hydrogens. So hydrogens are balanced. What about oxygens? Here two are there, but here 1 plus 2, totally 3 oxygens are there. But here only 2. So oxygen atoms are not balanced in this equation. We can say it is unbalanced equation. Second one, NaNO3 and NO2 plus NO2 are given. Now here, if you observe oxygen atoms, here only 3 oxygen atoms are there, but if you observe on the right hand side, totally 4 oxygen atoms are there, isn't it? So even one element atoms are not balanced, then the total entire equation is said to be unbalanced equation. Next, third one, just now I was in this equation above question, calcium carbonate gives calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. All the atoms are balanced on both the sides. Now we can say it is a balanced chemical equation. What about this equation? If you see aluminiums are balanced, carbons are also balanced, but oxygens here only 3 oxygens are there. But on the right hand side totally there are 5 oxygens. So it is not a balanced equation. Only one, that is decomposition of calcium carbonate, is given here as balanced equation. Okay, next one. In the given equation, what does X stands for? What is X here? See, if we balance this equation, what do we get here in the place of X? Say hydrogens, if you see, then we can understand. Here, two hydrogen atoms are there on the left hand side. And here, totally there are 6 hydrogen atoms because each molecule contains 2 hydrogens, totally 3 molecules are there. So on the right hand side, 6 hydrogens, but here already only 2 atoms are there in one molecule. By taking how many molecules of the sulfuric acid, totally we get 6 hydrogen atoms on the left hand side. With which number we have to multiply here to these two? We have to multiply with 3. So in the place of X, if we keep 3, then the total number of hydrogens here it becomes 6, which equal to the number of hydrogens on the right hand side. So in the place of X, we have to take 3. Okay. Next, in which reaction is a substance decomposed by using electricity? Yes, decomposition reaction means we have seen in the earlier sessions as the chemical reactions in which a substance decomposes to form two or more simpler substances are called decomposition reactions. So those reactions, those decompositions may be done by heating or by applying electricity or in the presence of light also. That may happen. We have seen these three different kinds of decomposition reactions. Out of those, one it is the decomposition of a compound by passing electricity. Those reactions are called electrolysis reactions. Electro means current, lysis means splitting of a compound. So the splitting of a chemical substance in the presence of electricity is called electrolysis. We have an example for this, electrolysis of water, isn't it? By passing electricity through the acetylated water, water splits into hydrogen and oxygen, isn't it? That we call as electrolysis of water. Okay, next one. In which reaction does a solid get separated from the solution? Yes, we have seen in certain chemical reactions, if you mix two aqueous solution, suddenly a solid substance will be appeared in that mixture, which is insoluble into water. The formation of a solid substance in a chemical mixing is called precipitation reaction. For example, barium chloride plus sodium sulfate. If these two are mixed, they form a chemical substance barium sulfate, which is insoluble into water and appears as a white turbidity. White solid form. White solid substance will be formed in the solution. That is called